Okay, well, I'll show you today how to make a stretch pot. It's your first project you're going to get to keep on the wheel. And just like any of the other things you do on the wheel, anytime you want to use the good clay for the wheel, I encourage you to get the good clay out of these bags and then seal up your bag. And remember, this clay has already been wedged, so you don't have to wedge it. And let's just reserve the bucket of clay for the hand-built pieces. Alright, so we'll start out just like we normally do, centering, coning up your clay. And here again, the moisture is really important, and compression is what keeps the clay from coming off the wheel. So many of you have a hard time with the clay falling off the wheel because you're not compressing it down as you work with it. So when you're centering and coning, pressure on the top is just as important as pressure from the side. Alright, so that's been centered and coned up and recentered. Now I'm going to kind of flatten out the top of this here. Yeah, that's pretty good compression there, and I flattened out the top so I can have a nice smooth top to find the center. Again, this is called opening. You're opening up the middle of the pot, and then we pull out to the side after we get the hole big enough to fit our hand inside. Now we slow it down, and now we're pulling, pushing in, and coming up at an even pace, working at 3 o'clock if you're a right-handed thrower, and then compressing the rim now and then. If you're a left-handed thrower, stop the wheel, change directions, and throw from the left side at 9 o'clock. Pinching, pushing in with the left hand, right hand just guiding your clay on up. Okay. A couple more pulls. Just guiding the clay gently here, not pinching much at all. Inside of the clay is getting a little dry. I'll moisten that. Squeezing in and now pulling up. Alright, so that's done. Now I'm going to trim this base. Trimming here at 3 o'clock again, holding the tool at about a 45-degree angle to the clay. Shaving off all the excess clay there and maybe taking a little bit in at the bottom because it's always a little thicker there. Now I'm going to use my metal rib tool here to smooth out the canvas that I'm going to draw my design on before I stretch it. I want a nice smooth surface. Alright, hold that metal rib tool at an angle, 45-degree angle, gets it nice and smooth. Go ahead and turn your wheel off and work on your design. I'm just going to do a few circles here. Maybe a little linear design on the side of the clay here while the wheel spins slowly. I'm not pushing in very hard because when I stretch it, it could actually tear the pot if I'm not careful. Alright, so that's good enough. Now I get ready to stretch the pot out. I got my clay really moist on the inside here. Don't be shy with that water. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my left hand so you can see a little bit better, but I've braced my left hand with my right hand, and both elbows are braced, and I am pulling out gently on the middle section of this pot. And I don't want to pull out too far, otherwise I'm going to tear right through the sidewall of this clay. And if I do go too far, my pot will actually collapse. The weight of the rim will be too much to support from thinning out the clay, and it will collapse on me. So this is stretching. And now I'm going to just kind of shape the rim. I'm going to give it a lip. I'm going to pull it out and push in here, and then also compress the rim. Cleaning up that rim all the time. The rim is the first thing people look at your pottery here. Alright, and the final step is to sponge the water out of the inside. Don't leave that water sitting here. And always try to work on the clay when it's spinning. Don't turn it off and start doing some of these things to it. It works much better while it's spinning slowly. It keeps your clay centered. Alright, so this is done, and you can see the design on it is no longer kind of a small design. It's stretched out. And I'm going to let this dry for a few hours and come back and show you how to trim the foot on this. Okay, we're going to trim the pot now. Taking it off of here, if you just kind of tap the pot on its side, it'll come right off the wheel head. Just dampen your wheel head. Slam your clay down here. You're going to turn it upside down and fit it on here, so we got to trim the excess clay off of here. Just hold that tool firmly in your hand and trim it off. And then the pot will fit right over the top of that. Alright, we need to trim it. First it has to be centered. So we will center that. And then trim the side. So we'll take a little bit off of here on the side here. I like to trim that in a little bit so we kind of got like a shadow line. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we'll trim the foot right here. Moving to the center of the clay. Oops, sometimes it gets a little loose like that. If your pot gets a little loose, take 2 or 3 extra pieces of clay and put it around the bottom like this to solidify it. Alright, now we're going to kind of recenter this. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to kind of start over on this base here. Alright. Still trimming at 3 o'clock, moving towards the center of the clay. Alright, so there's trimming. Has a nice little look to the bottom of your pot. And it sits nice and flat then. Okay.